All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. It is August 15th. Whoa. This is a weird problem that I did not have when we lived in New York, which is like the sun is constantly in my face. Okay. So hi guys, welcome to our team call. It's August 15th. If I don't know you, I feel like I need to introduce myself now because the team is growing, and I was just doing a call where I was some people's great grandma with like 3 greats, and I just felt like I feel very youthful as a great grandma. But my name is Keisha, and I'm the founder of Team Fit Foundation. I've been coaching for 4 years. I live in San Diego with my boyfriend Tina and our dog Lizzie. So, little backstory. So tonight, I'm not talking to you guys. You guys get to hear from someone who is so epic that I really admire how she builds her business. She's spunky and she's fun and she's saucy. And I really personally resonate a lot with people that are spunky and saucy and like kind of in your face. And that's Cassie. Sam's like viciously nodding her head because she's like, that is Cassie to a T. So Cassie, you look incredible. Your hair is just luscious and just you're glowing and perfect. So without further ado, that's your intro. You're awesome. Slay. I can't wait to learn from you. Let's do the damn thing.
Ooh, all right. Can everybody hear me? Okay, perfect. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Like Keisha said, my name is Cassie. I have been a coach for coming up on 2.5 years, which is bananas. I cannot even believe how fast it's flown. And I live in the Seattle area. I'm a dog mom. I have a puppy. He's downstairs with my roommates because he eats things a lot. So I would just be distracted pulling shoes out of his mouth. So he's not in here. He's very cute. You can go stalk him on my Instagram if you want. His name's Finnegan. And I have a baby niece that I'm obsessed with. I travel a lot. I'm an insurance agent by day, and I work this business on the side. So busy, but it's a super fun adventure, and I've loved every minute of this coaching journey. And I think this is the 4th or 5th call that I've hosted for Fit Foundation, and it's going to be a little bit different than ones I've done in the past. Definitely still a little saucy, and I've got plenty of truth bombs for you guys, but I'm going to talk to you about something that I don't think we talk about a ton. And it's kind of funny timing after Maggie's call from last week. And that is when you find yourself in a mental rut and you feel like you're in a really weird spot and you're not feeling super positive about everything. And you're kind of in one of those dips. We don't talk about it a lot, but I think we all have them. And if you're a tenured coach, most of us have probably had those times. And if you're a brand new coach, you probably will have those times, or you're going to have a coach that you mentor that's going to be working through one. And so it's just, it's something that a lot of us deal with, even though we don't talk about it a lot. So I'm going to give you really tangible action items because I recently found myself in one of those places. Things that I did to pull myself out of it. And then also talk about comparison and how to pull yourself out of that when you're stuck in that place as well, because that's another thing that's something that a lot of us deal with. So I have titled this called Pulling Yourself Out of a Rut and Turning Comparison into Inspiration. So a little bit of backstory on that. We had Summit in June. We had Summit a little bit ago. And it was awesome. And if you haven't been to Summit, it's this incredible annual coaching event that we have every year. And this last year was in Indy. It's in Indy again next year. You totally have to be there. And it's like inspiration central. Like you just come away on fire, feeling so excited. You're dreaming big. And that's definitely where I was at last year. And for some reason, after this last Summit, I got really down on myself and I started to feel really bogged down by the weight of everything I had wanted to accomplish by this point that I hadn't, and milestones that I hadn't hit. And I was focusing on everything that I hadn't done instead of everything that I had done, which is awesome. And I've accomplished some really amazing things and I help people. And I was just, my focus was shifted and I wasn't feeling the joy that I usually find, in this business. And my inner dialogue was just not what it normally is. And it was just this really weird space to be in. And I was kind of confused by it and I couldn't figure out why. And I was feeling really burnt out and I was having a lot of business time, but it wasn't really productive. And that's like a really quick way to be burnt out. Like if you are not giving yourself focused time and you're just constantly kind of on, it's not good. And these are all things that I know. But it's funny because sometimes you can know these things and still find yourself in that place. So that's why I wanted to talk about it because I think it's not an isolated instance. It's something that a lot of us go through. And so it's important to know how to kind of pull yourself out of that. My mental space was just not good. And so maybe like 4 or 6 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to join this kind of push group for diamond and above coaches to really like finish out the year strong. And I'm going to be really honest. It was brought to me, and I'm an obliger, so I literally can't say no to anything ever. And I was like, yeah, that sounds really great, because totally, like, who doesn't want to explode their business, right? But on the inside, I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, nothing's happening right now. Like, I'm doing all the things, even though I kind of wasn't doing all the things. I was like, I'm telling myself I'm doing all the things and it doesn't work. And I've tried before and I failed and I've missed so many goals. Like, why would it be different now? Why should I try? Like, so bad, like such bad, like internal monologue that was happening. But I did it because I couldn't say no, but I honestly didn't think anything would really come of it. So here's the deal. It is 100% a decision to stay stuck when you're in those places. And so I'm gonna elaborate on that a little more down the line, but I decided that I didn't want this to be my story. This is not the kind of coach that I am. This is not the kind of leader that I am. This isn't the kind of mentor that I am. This isn't why I'm here. And I just knew it wasn't me. So I was like, this isn't what I want my story to be. So what can I do to kind of pull myself out of this place? And so I'm going to give you 5 action items, 5 things that I did that really helped me totally course correct and put myself on a new trajectory, because the one that I was on was not great. So the first thing I want to point out, inaction breeds fear and the belief that the task at hand is a bigger feat than it actually is. We get so in our head about it. And the truth is, this business is not hard. You have to set aside small chunks of time to do it. But it's not like what it takes to build this business isn't hard. And it's honestly not even that time consuming, especially at the stage that most of us are in. And you just get so in your head about it. And I can't even believe I'm going to admit this because it's so not great. Nobody do this. But I honestly think I went weeks without sending a new invite. I hit Success Club in July exclusively on like old conversations and follow-ups and people that followed me closely, like conversations that had kind of just kept going and people that stayed in my circle from past invites, which is not like, don't ever do that. But I literally I was waking up still at 4:30 in the morning and I wasn't even doing anything. I would be like, oh, I just need like 10 minutes to set like follow requests on Instagram. Right. But then I'd be laying there and be like, oh, well, I'll just do it later. And then like, oh, well, I'll just do it tomorrow morning. And like, but then it never freaking gets done. And you build it up in your head to be this like thing that's so much bigger than it needs to be, even when you know better. And that's the lie. These things are easy to do. I heard this in a training once. Keisha said it. They're easy to do, but they're easy not to do. And it's like so easy to get bogged down in this place of like putting things off, even though it's really not hard. And like you get so in your head about it that you build it up as like taking 10 minutes to send a few messages is such a huge feat when I'm literally sitting here doing nothing. No, it's not. And like, how frustrating is it to be, we've probably all been there with challengers who come to you and they say they want help and they want to change. And then they're like, I just can't seem to get myself to work out. I like can't turn off Netflix and do it. And you're like, just freaking do it. Like you're literally spending more energy coming up with reasons why you can't than it would take to just freaking do it. But that's what happens when you stop and when you find yourself in a place of inaction. It's like this really weird mind game where you somehow know the truth, but there's this other like layer that's just telling yourself like, it's a bigger deal. I need to be in the right mood. I need to be not tired. I need to be whatever, when it's like, just freaking do it. And a day becomes a week, becomes a month, becomes a year. And that's how you become like, that's how you get burnt out in business. That's how you become burnt out in your fitness journey. Like it's so easy to just like snowball. And like, we don't want to do that, right? But in action, when you stop doing things, you will quickly find yourself in that place, because it's just this weird thing that happens with your brain. When you get out of the habit of doing something, starting again sounds like so much bigger of a deal than even logically you know it is. But there's this like block there. And honestly, like Success Club is the only tangible thing in that month that really kept me in like business building mode, because I decided a long time ago that that was a non-negotiable. And I have held true to that. And after September, I'll be a legend, which is super exciting, which is 2 years. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because it's a really cool way to make sure that you are putting your money where your mouth is. And if you say this business is important to you, and you say consistency is important to you, then that's a really easy way to make sure that's going to be happening. But honestly, that was kind of it for like a month. I was like, I wasn't doing the work, but somehow I convinced myself that I was working so hard, nothing was happening. So why isn't anything moving? Like, Well, probably because you're not doing anything, but it's just this really weird space that you can get in. So you have to remember, like, just act, just do something. Literally, just do something and ask yourself what works for you. Is it accountability? Do you need to give yourself a reward? If you're struggling to get something done, like, what is it that motivates you to act? And so I'm an obliger, and that means I literally will never let another person down. I'll let myself down, but I won't let anybody else down. So I found myself another obliger, and I was like, get on a Zoom call with me at 5 a.m. 3 times a week. And wouldn't you know, I started doing stuff, because when I have somebody else to show up for, it makes a huge difference. And she did. We literally posted pictures of us at 5 a.m. Doing Zoom calls. And, you know, there are some people who don't need accountability, but I think that most people do need accountability. And sometimes people hide behind that. And, like, I don't care what personality type you are. If you're struggling to get something done, get yourself some accountability. Tell your mentor, tell your upline, tell a friend, literally say, like, I will be on Zoom with you at this time tomorrow, and freaking do it. And you have to put yourself in a position where you're going to succeed, because you're not succeeding on your own right now. So what do you need to change to put yourself in an arena where you're going to get done the crap that you need to get done, right? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you cannot take out the joy, and you can't expect it to maintain itself throughout ups and downs and mental seasons like this. So the right action breeds joy. Going back to action, the right action breeds joy, but it's also a mindset, and it's a decision to be excited and to choose fun and to do things that are going to light you up. And I started a hashtag on Instagram, a dance party a day. And so it started out, I was like, oh, that's cute. But then I was like, oh, I actually need to do a dance party every morning. Wouldn't you know, when you actually start your day with a dance party, it's pretty fun. And, like, mornings are more fun, and it's more exciting. And, like, you have to consciously put things in your schedule and put things in your day that are going to bring you joy. And that's going to look different for everybody, but it has to be a conscious choice, because, like, sometimes, like, life's going to happen and everything isn't always rainbows and butterflies, and the joy does not always maintain itself. And I expected it to for a long time, because I love this business and I love this team and I love coaching and I love what I get to do. I love my challengers. And so I kind of expect, like, you're always just going to be riding this high of, like, I love it here. I love what I do. I love this community. And, like, the reality is that doesn't always happen. You have to be intentional. What is something that brings you joy in your day? What is something that brings you joy in your business? And focus on that and prioritize those things and get excited, have dance parties, and, you know, like, be conscious of it and be intentional with it, because it's not something that's going to maintain itself. So you have to celebrate yourself, celebrate the people that you're helping, celebrate every small win. Bet your booty, when I was coming out of this and I had a Zoom call with Rachel and I sent, 10 invites, I was freaking proud of myself. And because I hadn't done that in a long time. And you should be too. Like, whenever you have a small win, whenever you do something that's moving your business forward, get excited. Or whenever you're helping somebody, whenever there's any kind of win, anything that would be exciting, get excited about it, because that's how you maintain the joy. And the joy is like the secret sauce, because who wants to do something for a long time that's not fun and that doesn't bring you joy? Nobody does, right? But you have to be intentional about it, and you can't expect it to just maintain itself. So give yourself grace, celebrate what you've done instead of what you haven't done, and choose to make it fun, because it has to be a choice and it has to be intentional, something that you continuously prioritize, because it's not just going to stay there by itself. And I expected it to for a long time. Turns out I was wrong. Okay, number 3. You have to listen to the right kind of personal development. So personal development is obviously, I think anybody who's on this call would know, like, one of the vital behaviors, and you cannot pour into other people if you are not getting poured into yourself, if you're not filling up your cup. But beyond just doing any kind of personal development, it's really important to hone in on what do you need to hear right now, and seeking out the personal development that is going to snap you where you need to be, that's going to make you face things you need to face, that's going to be the hard, nitty-gritty truths that you need to hear. You have to be aware of what your situation is and where your pain points are right now, and what areas you need help in. You have to hone in on where you're struggling and find something that addresses that. A book can be a great book, and it can be an awesome personal development book. It doesn't mean it's the best book for you right now. So be honest about, like, what are you struggling with, in your business, in your fitness journey, in relationships? Like, what are things that are kind of bogging you down in life right now, and address those things, because personal development is a game changer. It'll literally change your life. And I know that, and I had kind of gotten away from it, and I was kind of just listening to stuff that's awesome content, but wasn't addressing what I really needed to be addressed. So ask for suggestions, like figure out, you need to do the work to figure out what your blockages are right now and like what it is you need to hear. And then ask people. Like, we are a community for a reason, and everybody is here to help you, and everybody's here to give you suggestions, and we want to pay the information forward that we have. And so you have to care enough to do that. You have to do the work to figure out what it is you need to hear and then seek those things out. And there was two that really like punched me in the face. And is that a saying? In like the best way, punch me in the gut, slap me in the face, whatever, those things. Whatever that saying is. And one was, there's kids, so I'm not going to say it, but like un-F yourself. That one. It's got a little asterisk in it, by Gary John Bishop. And then Kick Ass by Mel Robbins. And I will say those books aren't for everybody. Don't listen to any of them with little people around you on Audible. And Kick Ass isn't a book. It's actually an audio recording of a bunch of coaching sessions that she did. So it has to be listened to, but like maybe headphones if you've got littles. And it's some heavy content. So I'm going to give that disclaimer. But those literally had a profound impact on me and where I was at mentally in this last month, and really forced me to just like take a really hard look at myself and own the responsibility that is mine to pull myself out of these places, to get real about what you say you want and what your actions would indicate you actually want. And it's just like really solid reminders of like how much control we have over our situation, and how much responsibility we have to change it, and power of self-talk, and like everything that I needed to hear. And wouldn't you know, as soon as I actually started feeding myself what I needed in that time, instead of just an awesome book that's an awesome book for a different season, I was so excited. I could not get enough of these books. I was listening to them everywhere. I restarted another one as soon as I finished it. And it's just, you will be amazed when you click, when you're listening to the thing that you need to be listening to right now. It will totally just like open the floodgates of desire to change things and ability to kind of hone in on what your issues are, and kind of make you feel more equipped to tackle things that seem a little untackleable sometimes, and things that we feel like we just don't have the answers to. It'll be a game changer. So listen to the right kind of personal development. And just get really honest with yourself about what it is that you need to be hearing, what problems you need to be addressing right now. So number 4, bring someone into the mental space that you're in. It needs to be the right person. But I think sometimes we just need to say it out loud. And sometimes we need somebody that we trust, that's the right person, to speak truth to us. So know what you need and what you respond to, and then seek out somebody that you trust that's going to give you what you need from that. And just know that it's okay to not always be on your game. It's okay to not always feel okay. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to hide it from your upline. You don't have to hide it from your team. Like, there's so much power in speaking something. You don't have to pretend like you're okay if you're not. And it's okay to say, I need to be encouraged. And it's okay to say, I need to be lifted up. It's okay to say, I'm feeling really off right now. The people that are on your team love you, and we like want you to feel great about yourself. And we want you to know that you're awesome and capable and valuable and changing lives and have a purpose here. And, but you have to like seek that out, and you have to be honest about where you're at if you want people to be able to reciprocate the relationship the way that we want to. And there is so much freedom in just speaking something out loud and taking it out of the confines of your mind. It even helps just speaking it, I think, to another person, like increases your own ability to kind of see through it and figure out like what needs to change. And maybe this isn't as true as I thought it was when it was in my mind, because anything that's kept in secret maintains itself. So if you are in a bad mental situation, you're feeling like you're in a rut, you can't leave it in your brain, because it's not going anywhere. And it's only going to get worse. It's going to keep perpetuating, and you're never going to get out of it. So you have to speak it, and you have to bring people in and let people lift you up when you need to be lifted up, and just be honest about where you're at, because we've all been in that place. And you just can't keep it to yourself. And if you do, you're going nowhere fast. So number 5, this is where it's probably going to get a little spicy. Getting real and owning where you are. And both of the books that I just mentioned totally hit this, like pounded it into my brain in a way that I've never fully understood it before, or like been able to see before. Whatever it is that you're maintaining it because you want to. Somewhere deep down, if you're stuck somewhere, you're stuck because you want what you have, more than what you're saying you want that you don't have. Like, you're getting something from being where you are that's more important to you than what you say you want but can't get. And that's the nitty gritty truth. You're stuck because you want to be stuck. And whether that's conscious or not, you're choosing where you want to be, especially in this business, because it is not hard. You get something from being where you are that you don't want to give up. It's more important to you than whatever is waiting for you, whatever you're going to have to face to get what you want to get in this business, in life, in whatever. And there's a quote in the Gary John Bishop book. He says, we're hardwired to win. We're always winning. The problem comes when what we actually want isn't the same as what we say we want or what we think we want. That's when you feel like you're failing, but you're actually always winning. So sometimes this can be like legit, like, we're all messed up. Like, we all have like issues and things, like, so sometimes there's like legit things that you don't even, there's like fear of success, there's money complexes, there's feelings of like worthiness. Like, there's some really heavy, legit stuff that can kind of be a barrier to you in this business. However, that doesn't change the fact that choosing to stay in that place or choosing not to work through them is a choice of yours. And how frustrating is it to see somebody that you love, like, think like taking, like putting it on somebody else. Think about how frustrating it is to see somebody that you love, or like a challenger, live in excuse land. That's like, you know, I want to do this, but I can't seem to do it. But it's like, you don't want to do it. If you wanted it, you would do it, right? So you don't want it enough. So whatever you're getting from staying where you are, you want that more. And we do the same thing to ourselves, right? We say, I just can't seem to make this happen. I can't seem to get past this one thing. When it's like, if it mattered enough to you, you would be getting past it, because the most important things in your life and in your world and your business are being maintained 100% of the time. So it's just not the most important thing to you. And like, newsflash, also, stop speaking things over yourself that aren't good for you to have in your head. Stop telling yourself that you can't seem to accomplish something. Stop telling yourself that you can't seem to cross this barrier. You can't get past this one thing. Like, you're not going to if you keep talking to yourself like that. Like, you have to own your power in a situation to determine your path. You have to own your power to get yourself out of a situation that you don't want to be in. You have to own and understand your role in this situation. It's a big one. And you need to start acting like you have the power to decide where you're at, because you do. And if you need help kind of digging into this, if you're not really sure what those barriers are, here's something that helped me. Say it out loud. When you feel like if you're feeling like I can't seem to do X, or I can't seem to push past this, I can't seem to send the invites, I can't seem to find the motivation to do whatever. Say out loud, in this moment, I'm choosing blank over blank. In this moment, I'm choosing laziness over sending a message. In this moment, I'm choosing comfort over growth. In this moment, I'm choosing security over vulnerability. In this moment, I'm choosing what over what. And then ask yourself, do I want that to be my story? Do I want that to be a true statement? No, then get to freaking work and act and do something. So you have to own the fact that in this moment, you're choosing something over something. You're always choosing whatever you're maintaining. So what are you choosing? And what are you choosing it over? Do you want that to be a true statement? Cool. If yes, cool, keep doing what you're doing. And if not, then you need to act. You need to do something. You need to change it. You can choose to pull yourself out of that space at any time you want. And another good question you can ask yourself is, when you feel like you're kind of stuck somewhere, is, what do I get by staying where I am? Or what do I get to avoid by not going after what I say I want? Is it the fear of failure? Is it the uncomfortableness that comes from growth? Is it not having to put yourself out there? Is it not having to face a certain fear? What is it? What do you get to avoid by avoiding what it is you say you want? And what do you get by staying where you are? And once you can kind of hone in on the fact that it's all just a choice, it becomes really black and white. And that doesn't necessarily mean easy. And like I said, some of these, we have legit issues sometimes, and legit just like stuff that we have to work through, and insecurities and long held beliefs about stuff that's just not serving us. But that doesn't mean it's not our job to work through it, right? So, and you have to start with identifying that. Otherwise, you're never going to get past anything, right? Like, big or small, in this business and life and relationships and anything, you have to own your responsibility to identify it, and then do whatever the hell you need to do to push past it. if that's what you really want. And that's what we say we want, right? So we need to like do that. This is actually really funny. When I was planning, I watched The Wedding Date this weekend, which is one of my favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, it's really, really great. And there's a scene that totally resonated with me in this topic where if you've seen the movie, she's like reading this article that the guy wrote, and she was like, you said that every woman has the exact love life she wants, and that doesn't seem right. And he was like, oh, and then she was like, do you think that I want to be single and miserable and hung up on my ex who like totally broke my heart? And he was like, well, yeah, when you're ready to not be single and miserable and hung up on your ex, you will. And until then, you're not going to be. And I just thought it was like so simple and so true. And it's like totally like exactly the same. When you're ready to not be stuck, you're not going to be stuck. When it's more important to you to grow than it is to stay where you are, then you're going to grow. You just have to realize that that's 100% your responsibility, but that also means that's 100% your ability to, and that's super cool because it's in our power and it's in our control, right? And we get to say what we have. We get to say where we're at. We get to say what we think about ourselves. We get to say what's important, and we get to say how we win, because we always are winning. We just might not be winning in what we say we actually want to be winning in. Okay, so then the next little chunk, comparison versus inspiration. So we talk a lot about comparison and like, don't do it. But we don't really talk a lot about when that happens, because I think at least to some degree it happens to all of us at some points, big or small, somewhere on the scale. We've all been there, right? You find yourself in the spot where you're comparing yourself to somebody else. You're comparing your journey. You're comparing your fitness or your health. You're comparing your business trajectory. You're comparing your income. You're comparing rank. You're comparing something. We've all been there. And if you haven't yet, then you will be. And the trick is to recognize when you're in that place and have the tools to kind of course correct. And it's really funny because I don't even know when it was probably right after Summit, but if you were at Summit, there's a coach in the network who went from like diamond to 15-star in like 4 weeks or something. Keisha can confirm what the details are. And she posted a story about that in our Fit Foundation Diamonds page. And she was like, she called me out so hard, she didn't even know. She was like, if you read this and think, hell yeah, if she can do it, I can do it, then get to work. And she was like, and if you read that and think, well, how nice for her, but I could never do that, then you need to get your ass to some personal development right now. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm thinking how nice for her, but I could never do that, right? That's just it's total crap, because I was deciding like, she's got something that I don't have. She's more equipped to help people than I am. She's more equipped to lead a team, whatever. Like, we're all capable of doing this. It's just whether or not you're going to do the work. And you just have to know how to course correct, right? You have to know how to course correct when you're in that place. You have to know how to pull yourself out of it. So I started to pull myself out of the place that I'd gotten into, where I had slowly and quietly started to believe somehow, which is really genuinely not how I feel, that like something was broken with me in this business. Like, I feel like I know what to do. Why isn't it working? And I've been here X amount of time. And, for some reason I believe in this business model, but maybe it's just not, what am I doing wrong? I don't really know. And these beliefs had started to slowly creep in to somebody who really, truly, genuinely doesn't believe them on my normal days. Like, the normal me doesn't believe that that's true. But they just kind of started to creep in. So I had to like snap myself out of it and be like, one, that's total BS. Like, there is always, always, always growth to do. And there's always learning to do. We're not always when we set a goal, we're not always the person that can accomplish it yet. That doesn't mean that we can't become the person that can accomplish that goal, but you sure as hell have to try. You might fail 47 times, but you'll get there eventually if you care enough. And I just knew that that's not true. I knew that wasn't true about myself. I know that I belong here, and I know that this is where I want to be, and I know that I'm capable. So why am I going to continue to let myself believe anything else? And so I was in this weird comparison spot. I was looking at other people on the network. I was looking at other people on the team who felt very similar to me, that were hitting goals that I wasn't hitting, and that were moving past me in terms of income and rank and all this stuff. And it kind of it made me shut down for a little bit. And I was just getting really self-conscious and sad and down on myself and criticizing myself. And then again, I had to decide, I am not this person. I'm the person who gets excited for people when they do really exciting things, not the person who makes it about me and what I haven't done. And I'm the person who believes in myself. And I'm the person who believes in this business and what I'm capable of and what I have to offer the world and my team. I am the person who can do this, right? So you have to get your mind right when you're in that spot. That's number one. And two, ask for input, you guys. Like if someone's doing something incredible, if someone's like slaying the game in this business, ask them for help. Do you have any idea how amazing Fit Foundation is as a community and as a team? There is not one single leader on this team who would not jump at the opportunity to tell you what's working for them. Like you just have to ask them for input. And like you'll never get answered with a no. Like everybody will jump to tell you everything that's working. Oh my gosh, I tried this and it didn't work. So maybe like this is what I tweet. Like everybody wants to give that information. This is not like we're not the mean girls. Nobody here is. So just ask for help. Like obviously they're doing something that's working. They want to share. Freaking ask them about it. Ask them for their input. And then also just think about your own business. If you feel like something's not working, if you feel like you kind of hit a block, ask yourself what feels stale. So like myself, I was like, I think my onboarding process needs to be better. So I literally asked people and I asked like, Kinsley's freaking slaying it right now. So I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing right? Like, give me like, what's your rundown? Like ask for advice from people who are killing it and be humble enough to say like, I think I'm doing something that's not working. So like ask for input and get some other brains in on the situation. You don't have to sit here. You're not like an island by yourself. You have resources and you have people that want to help you. You just have to decide to tap into them. Ask your mentor, like from the outside, do you think that there's something I could be doing better? And then you just have to take action. You just have to do it. And sometimes it's a matter of like, I think maybe I could be doing X better. I don't really know what the answer is, but I'm going to try stuff until I find something that feels right. And it's about, are you going to do it? Are you going to do the work? Are you going to put in the work to get yourself out of that mental space? Are you going to do the work to fix the things that might need to be tweaked or fixed in your business, the things that might be getting stale? Like, do you care enough to do the work? And along the way on the comparison thing, a really good way out of that, if you become somebody who's like making other people's wins about your own losses, is to genuinely celebrate them. That's a pretty good way to snap yourself right out of that. So I'd highly encourage you to do that. But mental rough patches are hard. They're tough and we all go through them, especially I think in a business like this, you're not going to always be able to avoid it. So you just have to acknowledge it and then like do what you need to do to pull yourself out. You have to care enough to do the work that's necessary to pull yourself out of that place, but recognize that you have the power to do it if you really want to. So the question is, do you want to? Do you care enough? Do you care about this business? Do you care enough about your health journey? Do you care enough about your relationship? Like these principles literally overflow into every part of your life. When you've hit a wall, when you're having a conflict, when you're having a problem, do you care enough to fix it? Because it's always fixable. Everything is always figure outable. So are you going to do what's necessary to fix it? Or are you going to stay parked in the problem and make the decision to keep yourself there? Because it is a decision, right? It takes introspection. It takes sometimes a lot of hard work and asking yourself tough questions to kind of get to the root of like, what is it that my block is here? What am I choosing over success? What am I choosing over growth? What am I choosing over whatever? But it's worth it 1,000,000,000% of the time, even just to free yourself mentally from that. But especially like in this business, if you want to be here, if you believe that this is for you, if you know that, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the people that you're supposed to serve here to figure your ish out. So you just have to decide to do it and you have to care enough to do the work to do it. So that's what I have for you guys.
So good. So good. I love you. Thank you so much for all that content and so much tangible takeaways of like things that people can actually like implement right now. I don't know if you could see, but there were so many notes. Like people were just like I literally saw Kinsley was like literally upside down at one point, like writing so fast, her like arm was twitching. So couple of things real quick. If anyone has questions, drop them in the chat. I have a couple of questions. Do we have a second for questions?
Yeah.
Everything? Okay. So I know, so this is my own personal question that I'd love for you to kind of, if you can explain it, I'm putting you totally on the spot. I know that you were feeling like this and then you made the decision or however you want to like verbalize that and explain that. And then you went on to last week have your highest income week and sign up 6 coaches, which you haven't done in like 4 days. So you basically had, after feeling like this, you then took that like I always say, like in my own brain, like a setback is an opportunity for like a massive comeback. And I feel like you had this feeling which was so unfamiliar. I'm giving you time to like think about it. I'm teeing up the question. You had this feeling that was extremely unfamiliar, and then all of a sudden you were like, wait, I'm taking massive action, and had your highest week from a recruitment standpoint in terms of getting really damn excited and sending a really aggressive gifts, and then having your highest paycheck that week following this. So talk us through that, and maybe if like the hopeful end of like, hey, what can come out of like these dips? Because like you said, there's going to be many dips, and any person that's been here, honestly, even a week, it's like you experience that, and it's so worth it because of the growth, like you mentioned. But I'd love to hear your perspective around that.
Yeah. So, I think the turning point, well, I don't remember the exact timeline, but like these two things happened right around the same time where I, kind of just had a moment where I was like sick of my own BS. And so I said that I needed I told you, I was messaging you about something, and I was like, I'm going to start getting on Power Hours with Rachel, Zoom in the morning, because like I need the accountability. And then like a couple days later, I don't know if she's here, she's working tonight, asked me how I was doing in the business. And she was traveling for a few weeks, so I hadn't seen her, and usually I see her more often anyway. And I hadn't really talked about how I was feeling, because I felt like, why am I feeling like this? And you kind of get down on yourself and overly criticize and just we're harsh with ourselves, right? So I hadn't really owned it. And I had started to feel like I was kind of coming out of it, just because I was starting to take small steps of action, which kind of, it course corrects you a lot if you just do something. But I was just really honest. And I was like, honestly, like after Summit, I had this like huge rut, and I started to feel like blah, blah, blah. And I just like laid it all out there. And like the combination of like putting myself in a position where I was going to have to take action again, just small little steps, and then admitting what I was feeling, and bringing that to the light, it just kind of like snapped me into like, what am I doing? Like, this is gross. Like, I don't want to be that person. Like, this isn't where I want to park myself. It doesn't feel great. Like, why am I doing this? And honestly, like I didn't set out to have like my best, I didn't set out to do like to slay. I was just like, I just need to get back on track is what I told myself. But the thing that I've always found is when you're really freaking pumped, like it's kind of connected. Like if you're having a blast and like really truly doing the work and having a blast and being genuine, like then like the rest kind of just happens. And I realized that like it's just all connected, and I don't know how to explain it, but like what you put out, you really do get back. And for a while, I was kind of putting out fake excitement. And so like, surprise, nothing was coming back to me, but I just got pumped again because I was excited that I was doing something, and I was excited that I was starting to feel a change when I was previously feeling so crappy. I was excited to be excited again. And like, you want to keep doing it. And like, your mind is such a powerful tool. If you can get it in the right spot, if you can tee yourself up for joy and for excitement, like you will be amazed. And I totally forgot to talk about this when I was making my notes. Something that I had really, I'm going to get real with you guys about income. So something that I had really, was like upset about post Summit. I had been dollars shy a couple times, but I had never hit the $500 paycheck mark. And I was like, I've been actively coaching for almost 2.5 years, and I hit Success Club every month, and I have a team, and I'm doing all the things, and like I haven't hit this benchmark that most people hit that are consistently in this before me. And I was like, what's wrong? And then wouldn't you freaking know, literally the next week I woke up to over a $500 paycheck, and I like lost it. And I like wanted to happy cry, because I was like, it's just such a cool, like every week isn't going to be your highest week. Every week you're not going to have your highest paycheck. Every week you're not going to recruit the most coaches. Like every week you're not going to be totally on fire, but every week can feel really exciting still if you're prioritizing the things that bring you joy. And I have found, and every time I felt like I'm in these like really awesome zones where I'm just loving it, and I'm having so much fun, and I feel like everything's just firing on all cylinders, and it's just joyful. That's when my business is thriving. And so I don't know how else I can tell you that like you have to prioritize those things, and it doesn't maintain itself. And again, like that's not going to happen you can have joy in your life and in your business all the time. And every week you're not going to like surpass another milestone, but it can always feel really great, and it can always feel really exciting. And then you will have a lot of those times where you have really exciting new wins, and you pass new, milestones and goals. And And all that stuff. Really just consistency, honestly, and being excited again. It wasn't like I'm going to have my highest week. It just happened when I took care of me and took care of my mindset, and just found the joy again, honestly.
I was just on a call with Made for Brave, like some of the girls and guys on that team. And I was saying that like part of the work in this business comes from making sure that you're making the work fun, which is like what we say and we give lip service to, but like that's legitimately how you actually stay here, is like you can be tied to this mission, but like if you're not having fun, like what the hell are you doing? Like you have to make it fun. So I love that you were able to like look at yourself and kind of figure that out. Okay, last question. Kind of a random question that I just had sent to me, but I'm interested to see your response to this. If you're a new coach and you're really excited about this business and you're just like super, super pumped up now, is there anything that advice you would give to a new coach of how to try and prevent some of the dips that could come?
Yes. So there's some tangible things you can do, but also understand that like they're going to come anyway. So it's about knowing what you need to do to pull yourself out of them, because those are things that are just going to happen. But I would say to not forget that you have to prioritize things that bring you joy in this business and not expect it to just maintain itself because you want to be here or because you're passionate or because you love what you do or because you love this team, because all of those things have always been true. I literally couldn't pay me to leave this team. It's like, anyway, but that doesn't mean that those things just maintain themselves. So you have to prioritize that. So think about the things that bring you joy and think about the things that make you need to show up. And then do that. Like, do you need accountability to make sure that you're doing the business building things that you need to do? Cool. Like give yourself that accountability, and set yourself up for that. Find a buddy to do power hours with in the morning and have freaking dance parties and like share your wins with people and make sure that you don't convince yourself that the silly stuff or like the whatever, like the fun stuff that you do isn't important, because I'd say it's the most important if you actually care about helping people, because you're equipped to do that a whole lot better when you're filled with joy yourself.
Boom, drops the mic, walks away, throws the mic store, punches the mic. I don't even know. You just literally all the mics. Amazing, incredible content, such an important topic. Thank you, Cassie, for your preparation and everything that went into this. We love you. Thank you guys for being on live. I will get the recording posted tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you, Cassie. Thank you. Love you. You're amazing. Incredible job.
Thank you. Mwah.